What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast.
Nerd Cave Podcast.
Episode 234. I'm joined along this week with the bearded sultan himself.
Allie. Robbie Rolls.
And the girl with the
magical fading hair.
The magic fading hair.
The girl with the salsa tattoo.
With the wet salsa. So everybody's doing.
We're doing great. Doing a good
day.
Doing a good day over here.
Doing a good day, boy.
You know you're doing a good day when you say you're doing a good day.
So each and every week we bring you the Nerd Cave Podcast to the wonderful people out there each and every week.
The wonderful people of Oz.
If you want to get it early, you can get it days early. You could be on the cutting edge. You could be on the cutting floor of the Nerd Cave by going to patreon.com/nerdcave, supporting us with $1 or higher. You can get live streams each and every week of us recording the Nerd Cave Podcast.
Yep.
One weekend a month, we do it live for everybody, which is this weekend, actually. And then everybody else gets if you're a Patreon, you get it every week. You can support us at different tiers. There's $5 tiers. There's $10 tiers. Anything you want to support us, that helps us out a ton, make everything better and better each and every week. We also understand if you can't throw that dollar at us and make Robbie, because we understand that. We're working people too. And if you can't do that,
Work hard for the money.
all you have to do is go to youtube.com/nerdcave network. Check it out segment by segment, day by day, until we put up the full thing on Friday, and podcast services around the world.
I had to help you.
I was getting there. I was doing a pregnant pause.
Pregnant Baptist pauses.
Yeah. Well, they're called pregnant pauses, just like this one.
Or like,
Except for that. Anyway.
or like you're
this
leading,
one.
You're leading music, and you're used to our way of doing it. And you go into a Baptist church, and you're playing with the.
And they
the
slowed
musician,
down.
And like you get to the end of the song, and they just, and like I'm going in, I'm doing right into the next verse, and they're just like looking at me. I'm like, oh.
Why don't you try and talk on that thing? Y'all gonna have to eat those mics. I'm testing y'all's fakes
But
today.
I'm eating the chips.
Well, not when you're eating the chips. So, guys, we cover a ton of topics on this show, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it. The bronze tier in Pokemon Globals.
Gobles. My God.
We know the Globals, actually. Update. The bronze tier in Pokemon Go's Global Catch Challenge has been reached. Update. The first milestone in the Global Catch Challenge has been reached, meaning that everyone gets double XP in 6-hour lures, as well as more Pokemon appearing globally. Keep up the good work.
We are actually, if you scroll down, you'll see the Global Challenge.
Oh, there you
we
go.
are actually at silver, and we are extremely close to gold. Gold, Farfetch will be available worldwide, and then Kangaskhan will only be available in Asia, East Asia, actually.
Wait, what is Farfetch?
He's the bird.
It's the bird with the sailor. He goes Farfetch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So why is it only in East Asia?
That's a good question. Kangaskhan has not been available in the U.S. It's I want to say it's landlocked to Australia. If I'm remembering correctly.
So is there another tier where you can get it into?
No, I think that there will be another event coming out where it will switch the two. Farfetch has always been the Derek Diamond of Pokemon to me, so I want to have a Farfetch'd and I want to name it Derek. So I'm okay with this. You're obviously getting more XP right now in Stardust, so if you're wanting to quickly level up, beat your friends, get more stronger Pokemon, go ahead and participate in this event. Even if you're just catching one or two a day, the normal XP is 100, and you're getting $300. $300. 300
Get on that right now.
300 XP per Pokemon you catch.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know anything about Pokemon Go except for the servers were bad in the back days, the bad days.
Well, that is how I met my fiance.
Hey, congratulations!
Thank you.
We haven't talked about it on the podcast. This man is becoming a man.
I liked it, so I'll put a ring on it.
Okay, anyway, moving
I
on.
was like, never mind.
Congratulations, Robbie
Yes,
and Holly,
congratulations.
on your future marriage. I can't wait to see y'all.
You all.
You all.
y'all
I was going to say
people.
your blushing bride on the day of the wedding, all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to the cake.
I know. I can't wait to walk down the aisles and everybody see me and stand. It's going to be nice.
Yep, that's how that happens.
Yep. It's a lot of work to that point, man. You know what else is a lot of work? Nintendo Switch has been chosen as Time Magazine's Gadget of the Year. In Time's top 10 list of gadgets released in 2017, the Nintendo Switch has taken the #1 spot. Good job, Nintendo. Beating out the iPhone X, well, it doesn't take that much to do that.
Yeah, really.
And the Microsoft Service laptop. The list has been a fixture in Time's end-of-the-year roundups, looking back and compiling the top people and things of the year. This year, the Switch topped the list with iPhone X, Samsung Galaxy 8, S8, and the Xbox One X below it on the list. For about as long as game consoles have existed, players have had to choose between gaming in front of a TV or holding a tiny screen in their hands while out and about. Not so with the Nintendo Switch, the first console that truly designed for both at home and on-the-go entertainment.
This is great for Nintendo. It needs all the public recognition that it can get because we've seen them blunder and I mean, through multiple games, multiple game systems, and this is one that it's even beaten out the Xbox One X as of right now.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the market being saturated already with Xbox Ones. Nobody wants to really upgrade that much to an Xbox One X.
Yeah, and everybody already owns a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
The PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, both of those are luxury items at this point in time. Mm-hmm. When you could get a S or even a regular, the old Xbox or a PlayStation 4 or a Slim, those are much cheaper options than the X or the Pro. Those are kind of like where you're driving around a Lamborghini. Those are the Lamborghinis of the consoles.
And you look at this, most, I know each console has their exclusives. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, you can get it. Oh, I miss this.
I know.
But
it's going to sound much better this week, I can tell you.
But most of the time, if it's on PlayStation, it's also going to be on Xbox. Well, not in the case with the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, just tons and tons of
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. A lot of really good games.
Splatoon.
And that you cannot get until you get the Switch.
Well, and that's the nice thing is Nintendo, looking at the launch lineup, everybody was like, man, this is going. I know we have talked about it on this podcast of Nintendo having a very light launch lineup. Mm-hmm. And then each month they have put out almost a first party, first party game each month since its launch. And it is done fantastic. So I'm very, very happy for the Switch to be getting the recognition that it is, because I know I have fell in love with the Switch and the games that they've been putting out. Super Mario Odyssey is freaking amazing.
Yeah, I love the Switch.
Definitely my next big purchase.
I can't wait for Pokemon to be on the Switch.
Oh,
that is going to be a super fun series. Hopefully it's sort of like Breath of the Wild, where it's open world and everything, and just exploring where it's that 3D type thing. We're not that top down anymore. They actually build it from the ground up.
Third person, or even have it be over the shoulder,
Yeah, if they do it Breath of the Wild style, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But apparently Pokemon's been doing pretty well so far. The Pokemon series has shipped over 300 million copies. The Pokemon Company has announced the series has recently shipped over 300 million copies worldwide, crossing a huge milestone that solidifies its place among the most popular game series in this world. The announcement comes off of the release of the two most recent 3DS games, Ultra Sun and Moon, which the company says provided the last boost needed to get the series across the finish line. The 300 million number includes all Pokemon-related software released from February 1996, when Pokemon Red and Green first released in Japan, to November 2017, when Ultra Sun and Moon released in the month and are currently living in whatever. Only one other franchise has managed to ship over 300 million games, and that is the Super Mario series.
And that is amazing company to be in. I know I can attest, and I know you can, to playing Pokemon
God,
throughout
yeah.
our childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Even though maybe our parents didn't agree with it as much, but we still played it. I played the card game. It's just something that was just so much fun to immerse so many hours into.
Yeah.
Everyone I beat all the way from yellow, red, blue, leaf green, fire red, soul silver, played all through all of those, beat them, loved them, and they're still going strong. I think this will be the last one that comes out on the DS.
It is the last 3DS Pokemon. We talked about it a few weeks ago. So,
and I think our next one is going to be coming to the Switch, like we said earlier, and that's going to be an amazing day.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Before you move on, I have a funny story about Pokemon and childhoods and stuff. I have a friend who her mom would not let her play Pokemon as a kid, but she would let her play Yu-Gi-Oh.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, because they're
That's
Pokemon.
even
They're
more.
Pokemon endorses evolution or something, and I'm like, yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh has weird
Magic.
it's magic and demons, and then the Shadow Realm. Like what?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, sorry.
I played both. My mom threw away my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so I had to buy more.
So you had to duel her.
I dueled my mother for my cards back. She vanquished them to the Shadow Realm.
You know what needs to be vanquished to the Shadow Realm?
What's that?
Microtransactions. FIFA 18 Ultimate Team microtransactions
FIFA.
cause fan uproar. Fans are railed against EA for the use of microtransactions and the recent changes to FIFA's mechanics. A Reddit post on a consumer campaign known as #FixFIFA has been gaining traction around the internet. The movement also has a change.org petition, which has gained nearly 25,000 signatures at the time of writing. The goal of the campaign is to fix the variety of issues that concerned players are reporting, including extending FIFA 18's weekend league period and addressing the game's microtransactions. This isn't the first FIFA to use in-game currency of the popular Ultimate Team system or to have microtransactions, but players are finding the drop rates unreliable and believe that spending real money is more of a necessity to be competitive. Reddit user Pure Srock explains the packs are completely RNG and have terrible drop rates. As such, either spend $1.50 and get the best player in the game or spend thousands of dollars and get nothing. People with the best team in the game have spent a whopping $8,000 to acquire it, which is absurd, especially for a yearly game. He is also dealing with massive backlash on Star Wars, and we'll talk about more of that in just a second. So, what do we got here, everybody?
People hating microtransactions, and I, through my my Madden leagues that I play in, a vast majority of these guys also play FIFA. I'm not one of those guys, but they would always be, posting in the group, hey, needing somebody to help me play in FIFA.
Yep.
Or, they would always be talking about FIFA. Now they're like, nobody's playing FIFA in those groups. And these are people who, two of them coach soccer, and they're not playing FIFA.
Wow.
And I mean, it's crazy that FIFA is one of the most beloved EA games. There's tons of people out there across the pond that's in the U.S., all over the world who love playing FIFA.
EA, that's their biggest selling franchise.
It is.
It's FIFA and then it's Madden.
Yeah, and your microtransactions are just literally you're eating yourself alive. You're going to have a majority of people who are going to go out and buy, spend the $8,000 to make your best team. I've played Madden Ultimate Team, and
They video game worth $8,000.
No, and they push so hard in Madden Ultimate Team to make your team better. But really, it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters at Madden. But you can find somebody who went and bought a 99 overall Jerry Rice or a Tom Brady, and have these massive cards where there's no chance for you to beat them.
Yeah, because the stats are stacked against you then.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with this is EA has sunk a lot of time into putting microtransactions in their games. We've talked about Star Wars extensively on this, and we'll talk about it here in just a second as well. But Need for Speed Payback is one of the games that they've brought back on the scale of microtransactions where they're making you want to pay. They are wanting your money. And this is the thing, everybody, voting for a wallet and all that good stuff. But it goes even further where EA has said to their shareholders And I know a lot of people are like, oh, people just hating on EA. Well, they deserve this. Okay.
Yep.
EA has said to their shareholders, them turning off the microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront 2 will not affect the money that they make on this game. So what that just says to me is this whole system is driven by greed.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
And it's in everything now. And this clearly, like, this is going to gain more and more traction. I think we start talking more about FIFA. Now, what's gotten me, like, EA is screwing up a lot of things for a lot of people. And it's not even just gamers. There are governments getting involved now. Belgium has ruled that this is some sort of gambling.
Online gambling.
And now the United States are starting to look into this as well. The state of Hawaii investigating EA for predatory practices. Why did it have to get this far? That's all I've got to say. Yes, this week, Democratic State Representative from Hawaii, Chris Lee, held a press conference to explain that the state of Hawaii is going to investigate legislation banning games like EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 from being played by young children, both in Hawaii and possibly pursuing a national scale. Similar to Belgium also declaring today that the government has ruled games with loot boxes will henceforth be categorized as gambling, Hawaii is pursuing investigations as whether the same idea applies in the U.S. This game is a Star Wars themed online casino, Lean said from the podium. Can't talk today. It's a trap.
Now, I'm going to let you know what the definition of gambling is. Anytime that you spend money for a chance to win something is gambling. Yes. I gamble when I play the fantasy football on Daily Fantasy Sports because I'm paying money for a chance that my players will go off and make me money. In EA, Star Wars, FIFA, Madden, all these games, you are paying for a chance to get a rare card that's going to be better than everybody else's.
Yep.
I hate that it has to go as far as it's going, but I'm glad I'm seeing countries and states like Hawaii, Belgium, be able to come up against EA and be like, listen, this is absurd, and we have to put an end to it.
Yeah, the thing that's scary, though, is we've seen this happen before, not with loot boxes, but anytime the government gets involved in gaming, it's a very bad thing, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But this is also, if EA would have trickled this and made it where, like, 5 years down the road, they got to this point, nobody would have ever said anything. You know, I would have complained about it.
But it wouldn't have been as wide scale, but they did it so quickly.
It was so quick and everything, but anytime the government like jumps on something with the gaming, that's why the ESRB was made. They were made to there you go. They were made to lobby and they were made to make sure and regulate the gaming industry as a whole. But a few months ago, the ESRB came out and said loot boxes are not gambling. We talked about this on the show. Clearly it is.
It is.
It's clearly gambling. And now we're going to see the power of the gaming industry come to bear because if you don't know, everybody, these companies have a ton of money. They have a lot of lobbyists on their side as well. So they're going to educate the government. They're going to make sure that, oh, well, you don't understand what it is. It's not necessarily the gambling thing for me. I know what a loot box is. Yeah. If there's kids, yes, that is predatory. But the biggest thing is the greed that is part of this. And there are people saying, well, if they have to charge this much or they have to do this because the games cost so much.
No, they make their money back on the sales alone.
Yeah. They just said that in their shareholders thing. Yeah. And if you can't make a Star Wars game that makes money, then why are you making video games?
It is clearly not a very good Star Wars game.
Star Wars has such a huge following. You could literally put out turd that has Star Wars on it, and I'm sure people will buy it because it has Star Wars.
You can make like a solitaire game and say it's Star Wars solitaire, and people are like, I gotta have it.
You think about Pinball FX, they have Star Wars tables that are on that, and it does really well. Like, so those are some of the most sold tables on that pinball game. But clearly we're seeing something going on here where corporate greed is really damaging what the gaming industry is known for. And that's what is scary because you know, you look at Warner Brothers with Shadow of War. They skidded by just barely from getting like their teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got so many games that are doing these loot box systems and doing them poorly. I know you've said if it's cosmetic, it doesn't matter.
My thing is, like, I don't have, whenever it comes to just loot boxes in general, like, whenever it comes to something that, like, it actually affects gameplay, that I don't think that those microtransactions should exist at all. Whenever it's just cosmetics, then they mentioned it there as, like, talking about making it to where only people, like, 18 or older can actually do that stuff. And I think that that's, you know, it's still greedy, but in the grand scheme of things, it's totally fine. Because it doesn't affect anything. It's like it's your money, you're paying to get that, whatever. But whenever it's towards younger children and it actually affects the gameplay, it's just gross.
Well, they're talking about making it where kids can't play the game or whatever. If they make it where like, oh, you have to be this old to get the game.
Well, typically it'd be 18 or older.
Yeah, then your parents are just going to like it's just
exactly,
like parents
they're gonna
buying
find ways around
GTA
it.
or Call of Duty
Yeah.
for a kid.
Yeah,
like,
kids, they already do that, but
Okay. When we had our Xbox 360s, PS3s, we weren't 18.
same.
But you know what I did? When I put my birthday in there,
You lie.
Yeah.
I lied.
Well, and now
I
you
said I was
have
born in
digital
88.
cells as well.
Yeah,
You know, like the gatekeepers, like the brick and mortar gatekeepers are leaving. Like they're getting left in the dust because of what like the internet
it's just so easy to get around them.
So it's scary that this is going on, and I hate that the government is getting involved, but there has to be something. There has to be some backlash, and I can bet you right now Disney is ready to kill EA.
No, never. I went and saw the Murder on the Orient Express last night, and there were a ton. I mean, like almost every other commercial was some type of Star Wars game, not necessarily Battlefront 2. In fact, I don't think there were any Battlefront 2 commercials.
It was like the EA, like
mobile game.
Yeah.
There were so many of that. Disney was trying to push out like, you know, like, oh, we did this. I mean, it was a very touching thing. It was like we did this like lowering of the flag ceremony for this Vietnam veteran. Like, and I was like, I was telling my mom, I was like, they are trying to like really push on like PR right now,
Yeah.
like because they are in deep doo doo.
Yeah, and like if I was Disney, I would be making sure that I would be finding a loophole or buying out the contract that I have with EA, and I would go to somebody like Marvel did with Spider-Man. They went over to Insomniac, and they're going to handle that's part of Disney as well, but they're going to handle it right. You don't see TT Games, like the Lego people, doing this with that property.
No.
You don't see all of these things being mishandled. When you have a company that is just fueled by greed, that is what you're going to get with EA, Activision, Blizzard. Those are some of the worst, and you just need to be looking out for that. I'm sorry, I took over like
No,
with
it's fine.
all that stuff.
Out of the three, like just be like in the grand scheme of things, like of all of Blizzard's games, Blizzard is the least terrible offender out of the three of them. They're still an offender.
Well, Activision, Blizzard are one
you're
company.
saying like Activision Blizzard as like
the corporate structure, because you've got Call of Duty in there, and that's bad.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so
because I know that they did Destiny 2.
Yeah. So you got all of that there.
Yeah.
So definitely be voting for your wallet, with your wallet and everything. And while we're on the subject of Star Wars, I'm putting up my impressions video this coming up week as well. And if you are interested in the game, I definitely would watch it. If you are going to just play the game for the story, watch it. Watch it. And the quick thing on this, if you're going to play it, rent it. Do not pay $60 for this game. It is not worth it. And what they ham-fisted did in the campaign is an abomination.
Yeah, from what you told me about this, because I want people to go watch your video, but from what you told me of the story, it was very cheap and lazy writing.
Yeah, it was just bad. So don't waste your time on that.
Go check out the video.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, all you're getting is the first Star Wars Battlefront. Yes, it runs better, it looks better, but you're really only getting a multiplayer experience.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, when we got Star Wars Battlefront 1, not the original, the one they put out in 2015, I enjoyed playing that game. Like, it was something that I look forward to playing, but now, like, I don't look forward to playing Battlefront 2. Like, there's no fun in it. It feels like I'm, like, being looked and, like, pushed into buying loot boxes, and, like, it just feels dirty and like greedy, just like all of it. So like I know they've like retooled things, they brought things back, but that's because there was so much uproar over this.
Yep.
So also, you need to be contacting your representatives.
Yeah, we're at that
because
point now.
net neutrality is trying to be repealed by the FCC. So if you haven't done that yet, please contact them. I'll try to put some links and all of that where you
definitely.
can contact your state representatives. Because if you don't know what net neutrality does, it makes sure that everybody is on an even playing field, that no one can monopolize or charge you extra for services. Yep. Let's say you have Verizon's internet or AT&T's internet. AT&T also owns Warner Brothers, is that right? Yes, we talked about that. Let's say they have that, and the AT&T comes out with some kind of service that is a streaming service, and which they do have. But anyway, let's say they are in competition with Netflix. If FCC gets rid of net neutrality, they can throttle your speeds for Netflix in favor of their stuff.
Yeah.
What essentially it is, it's able to slow down other places and speed up places that they want you to go to.
To make you want to go to the faster websites.
And we've all had cable at some point in time. I'm sure most people have. And where there's packages, if net neutrality is gotten rid of, and the FCC is really, really pushing this, like it is absolutely crazy that the FCC is in bed with these corporations. If you don't call, if you don't get people to, like, if you don't bend someone's ear and make sure that, hey, if you don't do this, then we're not voting for you, or you need to do your job, whatever it takes, don't threaten people. Don't go to that point.
It's illegal.
But you need to be honest, and you need to make an effort to do this, because if net neutrality goes away, then the internet as we know it is gone.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could be paying $20 just to be able to access YouTube each month, which would be ridiculous, because that's part of the package that you get with your internet. So definitely be checking that out. I'll be putting links in the descriptions.
There's also a thing going around on Facebook. It's big and red. You can't miss it. It'll say net neutrality. Click on it, and you'll be able to sign your name to it. The more names you get, the better.
Yeah, and there's places that'll give you a script that you can read out or whatever. So it all helps you, so you don't have to come up anything off the cuff. Sorry, I got on that kick as well.
It's a very important.
It's something important because we as internet commentators, or whatever you want to say,
but even just internet consumers,
users, like it's important for us to make sure that the internet stays the way it is, because the internet is a big and beautiful weird thing.
It is.
So Square Enix let Hitman developers keep its IP, because it's only Hitman if it's made by IO. Square Enix president CEO Yusuke Matsuda, there you go, recently explained why it allowed IO Interactive to keep the Hitman IP when the two parted ways earlier this year, highlighting the intrinsic tie between the studio and its stealth action franchise. It's because I believe it wouldn't be Hitman unless it was Hitman made by IO. Told Game Industry Biz, adding that he believes that fans in the series feel the same way. I believe the fans of Hitman think it's only Hitman if it's made by IO, so I thought the way that was the best way for the game to continue, and that's why we were supportive of management buyout, and of course didn't mind if they continued to use the IP. When Square Enix parted ways with IO earlier this year, the Hitman developer went independent and gained full rights of the stealth action IP. While the studio now has complete ownership of the Hitman franchise, it lost the right to make Kane and Lynch sequels. Which is not a bad thing, because Kane and Lynch, like after the first game, was crap.
I agree. Out of the two, I would prefer for them to keep Hitman, because I don't think I played the recent one that come out, but like I loved the older one. I spent so many hours.
Blood Money was my favorite.
Yeah.
But that's huge that Square Enix, one of the bigger developers, would actually let another company keep its IP. I'm sure there was some kind of monetary, trade-off there, but that's huge, because you could see, like, with any other, like when Bungie left Microsoft, they didn't get to keep Halo.
Nope.
Microsoft owns Halo. Like when Epic left under Microsoft making Gears of War, guess what? They made another development team, the Coalition, to make more Gears of War games. That doesn't happen very often, and that speaks a huge. I don't even know, huge. That speaks a lot of the quality of people that Square Enix has. Yes, it takes them forever to develop a Final Fantasy game, but that says a lot that they would care about the users as also and also the game itself. So, good job, Square Enix.
Yes.
You did a good job.
Good job.
Good on you.
Yeah, good on you. You know, who else deserves some praise today? Hellblade hits 500,000 copies sold, makes profit 3 months ahead of schedule. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice has sold 500,000 copies, turning the profit in only 3 months after its launch. The news was revealed in a post on Ninja Theory's company blog, alongside the final episode of its 30-part Developer Diary series, which you can watch. Some of the figures details include 75,000 pre-orders before launch and 250,000 units sold in the first week of Hellblade's release. I'm one of those people that bought that.
I still need to buy it.
13 million in revenue has been granted by the game in the first 3 months, with 500,000 units accountable for the return, allowing Ninja Theory to break even on its experimental independent AAA project. I don't like when people say they're AAA. AAA is like a curse word in my mind these days because you got EA that is AAA. I'm not going to get on that tangent. Hellblade was developed for over 3 years with a team a size of 20 and launched solely on the digital platforms. Due to the nature of its development, Ninja Theory predicted to break even in 6 months after the launch, but has managed that in half the time. Thanking fans for their support. Ninja Theory co-founder
Tamim
and Tonya.
Yeah, there you go.
Tonyades.
Tam.
Can't read it from over here.
Found time to comment on Hellblade's success within the tumultuous AAA market. The escalating stakes in the AAA retail publishing model has killed off countless independent studios like us, many smaller publishers, and is now straining even the largest publishers. This isn't survival of the fittest, but a routing of the creative base upon which the industry was built. AAA will always exist, but we need strong alternates as well. The final step is to share our commercial model and digital sales data for the benefit of the developers.
Now, this is definitely good for Ninja Theory and fans of Hellblade, because this means that you will be getting more. And that's what it is. I love when these smaller developers are able to make something that has such an impact on people that, they're like, okay, we're going to break even in 6 months. To do that in 3 months, I mean, and to even surpass the people who made it is just amazing.
Yeah, and I know me and Allie have played some of it on the live streams.
It's a great game.
Like, it is so well written. It's so interesting the way the gameplay actually happens and the story is delivered. The graphics are phenomenal.
I
the
love
mocap.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah. I cannot remember the actress's name now, but the girl who actually plays Senua, the main character, there's one scene in particular where she just has all this raw emotion that she pours into that scene, and of course the animator did a fantastic job, conveying that as well. But that whole team, they made such an incredible game, and that I always keep forgetting, but that's another one of my games for Game of the Year.
And 20 people worked on it.
Yeah, for 20 people, it is
that's crazy.
It's beautiful.
It's crazy, and it shows we just talked about the AAA market charging $60 for the standard edition, $80 for the deluxe, and $100 for the unlimited gold, silver, omega version, and then having microtransactions on top of it. This game, I think, was $30 or $40.
I think it was like $30
and
or
it was
$40.
the whole game. The whole game.
Whole kit and caboodle.
The whole kit and caboodle. The shebang. That is crazy. That is crazy. That much money, and already breaking even in 3 months. Made their money back. They didn't piecemeal it out. They didn't say, oh, there's going to be DLC content. You need to buy the season pass.
Yeah.
None of that. You can do games the right way. If you do it the right way, you respect your consumer, you will have people that buy it. And if it's interesting, people will get it.
Very much so.
So, just saying.
Sorry, I was trying to find was trying to find the price. The only price I could see was the Steam sale. Right now, it's only like $22.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap right now. I'm gonna shout out another people that have done well. Actually topped the NPD charts this month because they spent time on their game. They took time off. They spent time on the game and made it worth playing. And that's Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yep.
Topped
Oh, yeah.
NPD.
The second you said took time off, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Took that time off to really work on it. I'm sure they already have been working on the next one.
Yeah.
Probably.
But that shows so much because they didn't keep running that into the ground. They
Yep.
actually put time into it and topped not just Mario. And of course, Mario only is on Switch, and it's the least popular console at the
Yeah.
moment. It's selling really well.
But just number-wise.
Number-wise, it's the top. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really, really
Because
cool.
it's a great game.
Yeah. So there are developers out there, and Ubisoft does a lot of things I don't like as well. But when they do stuff right, I'm going to point it out. So
Oh, absolutely.
Ninja
Yeah.
Theory, keep doing what you're doing.
Good on you.
Oh, you know what's interesting is this next piece of news. We're out of the gaming news now, everybody.
Out of the gaming into the real world.
Harley Quinn animated series ordered by DC Digital Service. Warner Brothers' upcoming DC Digital streaming service has ordered a Harley Quinn animated TV series, and cinematic Harley Quinn Margot Robbie is expected to be pursued to voice the lead character. The new service has already ordered a live-action Teen Titan series and an animated Young Justice revival, both set to go live in 2018. Harley Quinn's enduring popularity among die-hard comic book fans and her large profile in pop culture, thanks to Robbie's performance in Suicide Squad, has prompted DC's digital streaming service to order an animated series revolving around the character. As reported by Deadline, 26 episodes of a half-hour adult animated action comedy series, emphasis on adult, have been ordered, and Robbie is Warner Brothers' top choice for Quinn. Warner Brothers also released an art for the series, and then you can see it
Nice.
right down there. Adult, I'm curious to see what they are meaning by that.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Because I know that Margot Robbie's talked about it before, but in the was Gotham City Sirens is what it's called.
Yeah.
Correct.
I keep hitting in my mind.
I know like they've been talking about making, because I know in the comics, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are like an item now.
Yeah.
And so I know that there were talks about making that canon in the movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious if like my theory is that they will touch upon that
Yeah.
in the show.
I could see it being like using language.
Oh,
Having,
I mean, definitely language and
Yeah, blood.
some suggestive themes. Probably.
yeah. So we're going to be getting that, which will be interesting. DC having its own like streaming service.
Yeah.
Like we're getting closer and closer to having something that's like cable because you're going to be paying as much
Yeah,
for
really.
everything. So it is what it is right there. Are you going to watch it?
I'd like to check it out.
I mean, I'll see what it's about. The only thing
You're suffering with that mic, man.
I am.
Just
Put it right there. Like
Well,
you
when
can
I-
like
I know,
you can make
extend
it
it up.
taller.
but I block her vision of, and I want us to all be able to be seen.
That's fine. I just
Um,
pretend like I'm looking whenever that happens.
But depends on what kind of Harley we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be what we know as Harley Quinn from the animated show?
I wish they would get the lady that did the animated show's voice. Like that was perfect.
Yeah,
Remember who
like-
voiced her.
I'm
look it up.
Margaret
Okay.
Robbie. I mean, she did a great job in Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, not the best DC movie.
No.
But I wasn't a huge fan of how she portrayed Harley Quinn, because I felt like instead of the Harley Quinn that we know, the super crazy psychotic ones, we just got a sexed up
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, and that's what everybody went crazy for, and everybody dressed as slutty Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And and looking at the picture that you had up there, where she was, she's in the the stockings all the way up.
That's more of the
Looked more like Injustice.
Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum and all that version. Arkham City actually is the one that
Okay,
would be
we're talking about the Batman
Yeah,
animated
yeah.
series. The voice actress's name is Arlene Sorkin.
Okay, Arlene, you did an amazing job.
did good.
I want you as Harley Quinn.
But we just kind of have to see what kind of Harley Quinn it is.
Yeah.
As long as they don't make her like the too edgy for me Harley that they try to do for Suicide Squad, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is some pretty interesting news.
Interesting is a word, yeah.
Joss Whedon is still directing Batgirl. A new rumor claims Joss Whedon is no longer set to direct Batgirl. When Zack Snyder announced he was stepping away from Justice League due to the death of his daughter, it was revealed that Whedon was set to step into directorial duties for reshoot. The decision came after Whedon was already working on rewriting scenes for reshoots, reported at Snyder's request. Some involvement with Justice League was not the only DC project Whedon signed on. However, with him previously pitching Warner Brothers on a Batgirl solo movie, Whedon has been set to write and direct Batgirl since the early months of 2017, but his involvement with Justice League appeared to delay the development process. Now, given that Whedon's ex-wife said about his personal life is an open letter this summer and Justice League failing to be a hit that WB needed, he may not be involved. A new rumor from Super Bro Movies claims a source at WB has revealed Joss Whedon is no longer to set direct Batgirl. The report should be taken with a grain of salt, with the rumor stating that the decision a months ago, blah, 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 blah. But it says he's still directing it. I don't want to give the gift you've been waiting for, everybody.
Sure?
I know, I'm sure. I don't want to give that to anybody. So, what do y'all think? I've read the letter from his wife. I've seen the stuff that he was going to do for Wonder Woman, the script and everything, which was
not good.
It was awful.
It was the worst.
It was bad. It definitely didn't put Wonder Woman in a
good light.
No, it was supposed. It was that like faux girl power thing where she's like, "I'm a woman," and then. Just like she was very sexualized, but it was supposed to be like an empowering thing, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
It was gross.
And then we got, his reshoots on Justice League, which I want to talk about here in just a second because you watched Justice League. Allie, have you watched it?
I haven't. I've been wanting to go see it though, but I've been like, I was really excited for it, but I've been hearing not so great things. And
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I definitely felt like Wonder Woman took a step back. I don't know if that was Snyder or if that was Joss.
Joss.
I'm curious to see what that is. When I saw that he might not be doing it, I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah.
I'm really starting to lose faith in Joss Whedon's work.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just seen he got to the mountaintop.
Avengers was the mountaintop.
Yeah.
He lived there for a little bit,
and then he made Avengers 2.
And then he was like, "I wonder how close I can get to this clip." And then he slipped and he's fallen. And he keeps on falling.
And he's
Keeps
like,
on
"No, guys,
falling.
I got a hand on." So they're like, "That rock's about to fall," and he's like, "Wait, what?" It keeps falling.
But there is one guy that just keeps climbing. He just keeps climbing and climbing, and he's been popular for a long time, and then he went away, but now he's back.
He is back.
Jude Law.
He's so
Not only going to be Albus Dumbledore,
I'm so excited.
which you saw the picture,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Looks so good. We talked about it last week. Jude Law is in talks to play Marvel in Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, though, is Shazam, which is a DC character, so suck on that. Jude Law is in talks to join the cast of Captain Marvel, where he would play the character Marvel. Marvel Cinematic Universe fans may have to wait until Avengers 4 to see Carlos Danvers.
What?
Where did you see Tavares?
I was like, I don't know how.
Man, when you read all of this,
You're great.
you're doing all of
How
this.
did you get Tavares from Dan?
Brie Larson team up with the rest of Earth's mightiest heroes. But before that, her solo film will help to explore an untapped corner of the MCU. Set in early 90s and said to feature Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Captain Marvel will bring the Kree Skrull War to the MCU as Carol Danvers evolves from a ace pilot to cosmic superhero. In the world of Marvel Comics, Danvers gains her powers after an accident that involves Kree technology, exploiting and fusing her with the powers of Marvel. While he held the name Captain Marvel, Carlos became Miss
Carol. Became Miss Marvel.
Became Miss Marvel in her own comic book series in 1977. In time since then, Carol has taken on the mantle of the deceased Marvel and became the true Captain Marvel, which is where she experienced to be in present-day MCU. The latest casting update for the project suggests the film will indeed dive deeper into Carol Danvers' backstory, blah, 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 blah. How does Jude Law play in any of this?
He's Marvel.
Whatever.
Marvel.
Why, Marvel, why you gotta be confusing?
It is.
Why you gotta be so
Captain
confusing?
Marvel's story is probably the most confusing. Like, even
Is he part of the Revengers? I haven't watched it yet.
That was hilarious, though. What's y'all's name? Taking the Revengers. I love
because
Thor.
we want revenge and we're team.
But anyway, it's super confusing. Almost as confusing with people see Deathstroke and they're like, "Is that Deadpool?" No, they're essentially the same, but not the same.
It is the same.
But yeah, Jude Law is a great actor. I'm sure he'll kill the role of Marvel. And Danvers, I'm sure Carol Danvers will do good.
It'll be interesting. I'm not holding my breath.
Carlos Danvers.
Carlos Danvers.
Carlo Danvers. So we watched. Me and you watched Justice League.
Justice League.
I'm gonna give my impressions. My impressions. I thought that the reshoots hurt the movie because it seemed like there was so many hands in the pot and nothing made sense. That was my biggest problem with it. It was just kind of like, all right, we're going along. Like, I enjoyed it, but like the last 15 minutes is where the DCU should have started.
Yeah.
Like the last 15 minutes is where it should have started. Just breaking it down character by character, Batman, like Ben Affleck, seemed like he didn't want to be there.
He doesn't want
He was just like,
I got that impression from the trailer as well.
There have been talks of replacing him with Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah.
You've seen a lot of that.
With the Matt Reeves Batman movie
Yeah.
that they're going to be doing. John Hamm. Get John Hamm. Do it.
Like you said, he did okay in Justice League, but it just
Batman versus Superman, he was on, I thought it was really good.
I loved it. I was Batfleck all day, but I'm starting to, lose faith. I keep saying that lose faith because I'm, these people I have been, but Batfleck, kind of let us down a little bit coming from BVS to this.
Yeah.
His heart's just not in it anymore.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that. Wonder Woman, I thought was good, but I think the writing and the directing and the reshoots definitely took a lot of steam out of her sails. Like going from Wonder Woman, which was just a fantastic movie,
So good.
it just felt you could have. This could have been so much more. Flash, I thought Ezra Miller did an amazing job.
I did
He is
too.
one of the main reasons I want to go see it. I adore Ezra Miller.
Just his comic relief between him and Cyborg when they're in the crater and he's trying to give him the fist bump. He's like, no, okay, and just probably the funniest part in the entire movie. And I know we've talked about this one was when Superman comes back and he's running around Superman and all of a sudden you just see Superman go, and he goes,
Stop spoiling stuff.
oh.
Spoiler warning. It's not like it wasn't obvious he was going to come back in the movie.
Yeah, but you're giving the good stuff away. He was awesome. Don't listen to Robbie.
Awesome.
Okay.
Just
got
mute him
excited.
out for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever you release it, just be just put a black
I'll
bar
just
over
I'll
him.
just cut that.
Yeah, just
part.
cut it out. Just cut it out.
I liked Ezra Miller. I thought he did a really
did
good
good.
job. It was interesting how they visualized the powers compared to the show. I thought they brought a lot of the things in. What was interesting is the guy that played his father wasn't even credited in the credits.
Really?
Yeah, which was very weird.
Who was it? A
Everybody
famous
gets-
actor who played his dad?
What is he? He's something I can't remember.
I'll go down the IMDb rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Somebody sneezes on set and they get a credit
Yeah,
for that.
but he didn't get credited for the scenes. But that guy was dropping speed references left and right. He was like, you can't slow down. You gotta keep moving. It's just like, stop with that stuff. We get it. He's the Flash. Okay.
Well, I mean, another example of an actor who, I mean, it was a bigger part but didn't get credited was in the second Thor movie, I believe it was. Chris Evans shows up as Captain America for a split second, but he's not credited for it because he didn't get paid.
Oh,
That's what I mean. That's all the credit is you got paid to do it.
I have no idea, but he's not credited in the movie. So,
Cyborg,
Yeah.
I liked Cyborg. Cannot remember the guy who played him.
Vince Vaughn.
That's not Vince Vaughn.
I have no idea.
But like I said, I think my favorite was the banter between him and Flash.
Yeah.
The ending part.
Don't spoil anything.
I'm not. And,
Sure.
and Cyborg just says something that just takes you back. And that's all I'm going to say on it. It just takes you back to a special time.
I like Cyborg. I think his arc was pretty well done in the short amount of time that we got to experience him. I think he added a different dynamic to the group. With Aquaman, though, like, I think Aquaman could have been so much more. Like, there was a lot of potential in Aquaman, but all we got was, oh yeah, my man, yeah, my man, oh yeah, my man. And I'm like, please say something else. Like, the best part was when they were flying and like he was just talking. You know what part I'm talking about. And like that was the best part. And the scene with him and Mira, I thought there was going to be a lot more to that. I'm curious to see what we get with the Aquaman movie. Like, I like Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is a really good actor. He's definitely got the physique for the role and everything. And he brought some gravitas to it because of like how imposing he is as a human, how big he is. But it was just kind of.
I think somebody had to get the short end of the stick in this movie because things,
Why does Aquaman always have to get the short end of the stick?
It's just Aquaman.
It's true. Like, everybody downplays Aquaman, but he's super cool.
Yeah.
Because, we talked about things like it wasn't nearly as rushed as I thought it was going to be coming into the movie. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are still things that kind of happen way too fast and happen in a way that we thought would have been more comic book, but wasn't.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like, I think everything just kind of, it was like very chopped together. Like, they started doing these reshoots and they had to figure out how to get everything together. Mm-hmm. Steppenwolf as a villain was okay.
Mance Raider.
Like, I liked the guy that did Mance Raider, the guy that plays him. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know
like,
it's Mance Raider.
He did a good job, but a full CGI villain never works. Like, at least Thanos has like some parts of him that are real, and it's sad that we might not ever get to see Superman go up against Darkseid. Like, we might not get that because they're like, this was supposed to be like their Avengers moment and everything, but it didn't happen. Superman, I think some of the coolest stuff happened with Superman. That upper lip, though, my God. Did you catch it?
Oh, they like CGI'd out like his mustache or whatever?
Yeah, like he's doing another movie. Like, when, like, the very beginning of the movie and the kids are talking to him and everything, you're like, why does his face look weird?
Okay, I didn't know that.
So
that's what
they
it was. I thought it was
CGI'd
just
out
me.
his mustache the whole movie.
I think it's 'cause
majority of the movie.
He's doing that like it's like he's in that Uncle movie, right?
Yeah, he was in the Uncle.
Yeah, because I know they're making
doing
another one.
Yeah, so it like I think he had some of the coolest line. He's like, I'm a big fan of, and like that was the best line of the movie. That was the best line of the movie. But it just seemed like everything was just rushed to get there, and like the last 15 minutes felt like where they should have started the whole series. Like the whole thing.
You mean like all like the new movies?
Yeah, like that's where they should have started the DC universe. Like, everybody's established already. Everybody's been a superhero. They're already the Justice League. That's where they should have started. Like, I love Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel like nobody's business. I love Batman versus Superman. But like, if I had to give those up to start right where that last 15 minutes, I totally would do that.
Would you give up Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
I mean, from what
Like
he's saying,
from what could be.
No, I
From that,
totally
I
understand what you're
would.
saying. I get you.
yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like the potential of that 15 minutes going into what it could be, it's worth just about any price you could pay.
Yeah. I know, like, you got any closing thoughts on Justice League?
I still think it's a movie you need to go see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great moments. Yes, like I said, it didn't feel as rushed as I thought it was going to be. Still rushed in places, but this is definitely a movie that you need to go see.
From Amy's point of view, you know, like I of course read, me and you've read a lot of comics and everything. She was saying that she enjoyed this way more than Batman versus Superman because it was not geared towards
The nerd.
the super nerdy
Good.
people that have like know all the Easter eggs, because Batman v Superman was just like hitting all like the high points.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is awesome. That's why I love it so
No, yeah.
much. And this one, it's like anybody could watch this, anybody could understand it, and it's a good comic book movie.
And-
now, I'm not saying that it's a good like I wouldn't like when you look at a good Marvel movie, like everything works in place. Marvel has some good comic book movies as well. It's not on that same level as some of their good movies. Like
Sure.
Iron Man 1, probably the best superhero movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, and I agree.
There's no bad parts of that movie. It's
No.
fucking amazing.
It is a very good movie.
But Justice League is one of those movies where you could take anybody and it's just a casual fan, a casual
Yeah.
movie watcher can watch, just like the new Star Trek movies. You didn't have to go watch,
The Next Generation.
all these other, Star Trek movies. You could watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
Same with this one. You didn't have to know all the lore and everything
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, I think it's a movie that's worth going watching if you're looking for something that is like super in depth or anything like that. Go watch Batman versus Superman. I like Batman versus Superman more than I like Justice League, but I like the Justice League a lot more than I like some other movies. So
That's very
That's
true.
fair.
last 15 minutes though, and when old boy in blue shows up, says that line, I'm like, oh, whoa. Whoa! It's so good. I can't say it because I don't want to ruin it for everybody. You just need to experience it.
I like it. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Me and you have watched Murder on the Orient
Yes.
Express. What are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was fantastic. Before going into the story, after it was over, because I went and saw it with my mom and grandpa, I was like, we have to stay because I need to know who the composer and the director of photography were, because the music was incredible. It was Patrick Doyle. Shout out
Okay.
to my man. And I can't remember the director of photography's name. It's a really complicated name. But it was shot so beautifully, especially like that last scene where you see the train driving off at the end. No, I don't have green hair. Since it's bleach blonde, it fades on. The green reflects it really well. Part of me wants to just dye green, so it's just it's just all gone. But no, it's it was a very beautifully shot movie. I thought the casting choice was excellent.
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley, amazing. It was really cool to see Leslie Odom Jr. For those who don't know, he played Aaron Burr in the original Broadway cast for Hamilton. So it was really interesting to see him in
In a movie.
yeah, in a movie. Johnny Depp,
Felt like a phone in.
it did. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it did kind of feel like I'm here. And granted,
Wasn't there long.
yeah,
But
no spoilers, but it wasn't there long.
yeah. I think that's probably why he signed on for the movie.
Probably.
I think he did an okay job at it. The story was really good.
Story was
I know
incredible.
it's based on an Agatha Christie
Yes.
novel, Murder on the Orient Express. I really enjoyed the opening of the movie.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
really well thought out.
Yeah, well thought out. It was really good, introduction to who, because it starts off with Hercule. I can't remember how to say his last name, but he's this French detective.
Belgium.
Belgium?
Yeah, he's
He's
Belgium.
French. I lied. He's Belgium.
Well, Belgium and France share borders, so kind of bleeds
He-
in together.
he spoke French.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was just making sure that you
No,
were
yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so it starts off with this detective, and it shows, he's Like, they don't directly say it, but he clearly has, like, you know, OCD because he's like, this has to be like this. But he's also, like, with the little kid, he's like, no, it's not your fault, my friend. The chickens, they just lay abnormally sized eggs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get introduced to this character and how he's able to just see, like, the tiniest little detail. For example, it was, like, the crack in the wall. And he was like, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, so what's about to go down on the murder, like, on the train is about to be really cool. Because I try to stay away from, like, knowing the story because I wanted to be surprised when I saw the movie.
Here.
So yeah, that opening scene was really cool.
Especially like where you like put his cane.
You put the cane there. Like, why are you putting your cane in there? And then when you see the payoff, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's like this, like Sherlock Holmes in a way.
Yes, it's very Sherlock Holmes-esque.
Yes, I would recommend it for a date night if y'all like murder mysteries.
I think he's talking Justice League.
Either one.
Like, I took Holly and you took Amy, and I know Holly really liked Justice League.
Yeah, I would recommend either one of them because
Yeah.
me and Amy went and watched Murder on the Orient Express, so either one's good.
Yeah. I will, like, again, going back to cinematography, because, like, yeah, like, if you're not into, like, murder mysteries or whatever, but you love seeing well-shot movies, Murder on the Orient Express is an incredibly shot movie. Like, the part where, like, it's, like, showing all the different characters and, like, it's, like, going behind the glass, so, like, it almost has, like, a kaleidoscope effect.
Yeah.
It's stunning. But, yeah, like, the story was really well thought out whenever, like, he's finally, like, you know, and the person who did it was blah, blah, like, you know, that moment or whatever was amazing. Like, the plot twist with that
payoff.
one character.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I was like, oh.
It unraveled really well. It wasn't like a fast unravel. Like it was really paced well.
Yes, absolutely.
And the characters that are throughout there, seeing the guy that played LeFou,
Josh Gad.
seeing him in this movie, I really enjoyed him in the movie.
I really enjoyed it too because it was a very, very serious role. Murder on the Express. Very good.
Because we were talking about it.
Very good. And there is romance. There is romance in the movie.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
You know, I really liked the pacing of it. I liked the main character. My biggest my biggest thing taking away from it is it was really hard to keep up with the characters. Like I kept up more with the archetypes that they have than their names. Like I know McQueen,
I was
and
pretty
the
good with the names.
Armstrongs, and that's about all I really remember.
Without not giving away anything, like because it's like, oh, and then this because of this. So it was keeping up with all the different relations after the movie. Like, I kept up with it pretty well. Like, especially during the movie, I was like, yeah, totally. And then after the movie, we were like, wait, so this character was this person. And
Yeah, like
there's only one character I couldn't remember, which was the princess's, like, handmaiden.
she
lady.
was the chef.
The chef. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
To my mom before I forget.
That was like the archetypes were what I remembered. The names
Yes.
is what I could not remember. But I thought the just how it was written and how like the detective's interactions with each person differed. How he would make them uncomfortable when he was questioning them by using what he perceived to be their you know what would make them uncomfortable, like the nurse.
He put her in like a really closed, tight space, and then for the governess, he put her out in the cold.
Yeah.
And like, I love how, like, she called him out on it, and he was like, oh, well, you know,
Yeah.
it gets it done.
Now, this is the movie that's like similar to Clue, right?
Yes, it's very similar to Clue, but Clue's a lot sillier and a lot more campy. But it's that same kind of feel.
The pace of it is, to answer Mike's question, the pace of it is it would be a normal paced movie.
Yeah.
Like it has a not a super fast opening, but it has an opening that establishes the main character, but like gives you a quick payoff to a crime that he is solving, and then like the clues are fast paced throughout the movie, but the payoff doesn't happen until like
the very
like the last 10 minutes. Like you're getting to know like what actually happened, which I thought was a good way of doing it, because a lot of movies have the problem of wrapping up too early.
Yeah, and then it's like we have this like this downward slope, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're just dragging the movie out.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed because he he's like reading the letter that he's writing at the end of the movie, and I really like that because the entire time he's like, it's this or this, and he's like, oh, there's a little bit of this in here. It was really, really good. I would love to go see it again.
Yeah, and I know a lot of it's not breaking the block, the blockbuster or anything like that. But I think it is something that is well worth going to see.
Absolutely.
And I think if you waited till it went on DVD or rented it on iTunes or whatever, like watching it multiple times, I think is like you would pick up on a lot more stuff because there's a lot of things that are in there. So I enjoyed it a lot. I would suggest going and watching it.
One final thought on it is that at the very end, the guy's like, I need the inspector. We had a murder. We have to take him back to Egypt on the
Nile.
Yeah, it was on the Nile because there's another Agatha Christie book, Murder on the Nile. So we were talking about that at dinner last night. And I was saying, like, if this movie does well enough, they might.
Yeah,
and if
I could see them.
comes back because he would have to, because he directed it and he's a fantastic director.
Yeah.
He would come back to do that, and I would love to see them do that because I really enjoyed this movie.
I think you would be able to keep up with it.
You might get a little confused with all the characters, but at the very end, like if you like, wait, I couldn't keep up, they re-explain everything, so you're like, okay.
Like my suggestion would be if you can't keep up with the names, like I couldn't keep up with the archetypes.
Keep up with the archetypes.
And I think that would be a good way to do it. One thing like I have to point out on this. There's a lot of star power in this movie.
Definitely.
Like there is a lot of star power in
They
the
relied,
movie.
I think that was like their biggest
marketing. I think that was the way of marketing. And I think it did really, like when Willem Dafoe showed up, I was just like, Willem Dafoe's in this movie?
Yeah, like right before we went in, like there was a poster and it was like Willem Dafoe and I was like, I totally either forgot or did not know he was in this movie.
Yeah. So there was like a ton of big name actors and actresses, actors.
Michelle Pfeiffer's in it.
Yeah. Like crazy.
Yeah. One thing I want to touch on, because Hugh Jackman is such a staple around here. I know you saw the preview.
I am super
The Greatest
excited.
Showman.
Oh my God, that is going to be so good.
The whole Barnum and Bailey circus.
So
I am super excited for that. Like, I didn't like his style of singing in Les Mis, the new one, but
I have things about that.
I couldn't get behind this.
I think a lot of it's because he's older.
It's older, but the thing is, like, he had to have been directed that way because he is Broadway trained.
Yeah, he is.
So like he had to be directed to sing that way.
And like I did not care for that style, but hearing him sing a little bit in the preview for Justice League, I saw it in. I mean, it's a show that I'm gonna see this Christmas when it comes out. I'm excited.
It
for
has Zephron. Zephron.
Yeah,
and it's a circus.
I have to say, like, the more I see of Jumanji.
Into
the Jungle, the more I want to watch it.
I really want to watch it. Like, do I think it's going to be the best movie in the world? No, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
We have hated on this remake. At least I have.
Yeah.
But,
like when they announced it, I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I was like, what? That makes no sense. And then someone was like, they're going to make it a video game. And I was like, okay, that could be interesting. And I saw a trailer and I was like, it'll be fun. But I'm like, yeah.
Jack Black looking into the water.
I can't.
Oh my God.
I
can't even with this place.
I want to see him stereotype a teenage girl. That's my biggest thing of wanting to see this movie.
Well, I think it's just going to be fantastic. Like The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black are comedic gold.
Absolutely.
Like within themselves, like putting all three of them, and then is it named Karen Page?
Karen Gillan.
There we go. Like her and The Rock both have like really good stunt work since she played Nebula and when she was in Doctor Who, but definitely Nebula and The Rock with all that he's done. I think it's going to be some really awesome action moments and a lot of good comedy that's going on.
I like Kevin Hart. Where's the rest of me?
I love the part where it's like your weakness is cake, and then he eats cake, and he's like, am I this? Am I this? Am I still black? Yes. Well, then we're fine.
And then he explodes.
But I like a lot of good movies that are coming up. The Greatest Showman, though, I was just like, that's going to be good.
Yeah, the second they showed Hugh Jackman, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it seems like there's some interesting going on. And then it was like a circus, and I was like, are they making what I think they're going to make? And then it was like it went into the store, and I was like, oh my gosh.
So I mean, there's a lot of movies coming out, the end of this year and the start of next year that I'm really excited for.
Oh, there is a new, I guess it's they've changed the name. I don't know. It's either Silence is Survival or A Quiet Place. This is Jim Halpert, like the guy that played Jim on Office.
The Office,
He's directing it.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're all
Chris
like-
Krasinski.
Yeah, his wife is the lead female on the
Okay.
movie.
Yeah, like I mean, it seems really interested. Like you can't make a noise in that
Yeah.
house, and of course, then something bad comes after you.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what that movie is about. Like,
Kinda-
it showed up, like, you know me, I used to didn't do the whole like horror or like jump scary stuff, but since I play like more and more of that, I'm like, I want to watch this. And he's
Yeah,
like, no,
it's
I'm
Yeah.
good.
fun. It's
Like
fun.
it kind of reminds me of like I mean, it pretty much is the premise behind Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
the movie where the killer blind dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, this
yeah.
is something that is probably right up that alley. That looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be really, really
A
good.
lot of good stuff coming out.
All right, so there you go, guys. There is episode 234.
In the book.
It's in the books. It's there. It's written. You can see it
Chapter.
out there. Robbie
Closed.
spoiling Justice League at one point.
Well,
in
not
time.
if you cut it
It
out.
didn't spoil much. It was
He
just
spoiled something big, man.
it's
But it's such a
hilarious.
good part of
But
it.
if something
Everybody
you
knows
could
they're about
tell
the
that
same
just from the
speed.
trailer. I mean, you could tell it just by the end of Batman vs Superman. You're like, oh yeah, sure. Like,
everybody.
No, it's not him coming back. It's
Oh.
like, yeah. Anyway,
Never mind.
So there you go, guys. If you want to get the podcast early, you got it on a live stream today. If you watch it
But
live.
if you want future podcasts,
If you want
early.
future podcasts early, all you got to do is go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Throw us $1. You get a live stream each and every week of the podcast early. If you want to give us more, you can get the audio version that's edited.
Yep.
We've got an RSS feed set up, so once you become a Patreon of $5 and up, you get access to that RSS feed, and it'll send you the new episode when it goes live Monday at
Yep.
7 o'clock a.m. If you want to get any more, give us more, $10, you get the edited version of the podcast with all the nice lower thirds, and we got a ton of different tiers that you can get. You can get free t-shirts from supporting us. You can get shout outs and all of that. So shout out to all of our Patreons, patron saints, all that good stuff. The nerds that are supporting us over there. If you can't support us over on Patreon, that's okay too. You can go over to youtube.com/nerdcave network and support us there by watching, thumbing up those videos, and sharing them.
Don't
Sharing
forget to
is caring.
subscribe while you're there.
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah. And we do that each and every day. We put out a podcast segment until Friday. We put up the whole kit and caboodle for your viewing
Whole
pleasure.
shebang.
The whole
Whole
shebang. We also put it over on podcast services around the globe. So for all the audio listeners, we appreciate everybody that has been watching and enjoying our day of Nerd Cave.
You're beautiful.
So there you go, guys. There is episode 234 in the book. This has been Zach.
Robbie.
And Allie.
Have a week.